Welcome to the VATK learning experience. To better communicate the difference between visual, audio, tactile, and kinesthetic educating and learning approaches, we're going to run a little experiment. We're going to provide you with some content, which you are hopefully not familiar with, in different styles, and then quiz you on the material after each section. Then at the end, we'd like you to reflect and state which style leads to the best learning retention for you and why you might think this is the case. The material we are going to use is a timeline of a war in ancient history, specifically the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta in modern-day Greece. A subject you may be familiar with, but it is unlikely that you will know it in enough detail for previous knowledge to affect the results. First, we are going to start with visual learning. Now, please just pay attention to the following visual explanation, which will take place over the next minute or so. And don't take notes. Just read the following text and look at the cues on the map. You will have 10 seconds to absorb the information from each slide. Okay, so we're going to start it now. Okay, now that you have seen the information, please take this short quiz and note down your own personal score after you've finished it. Okay, our second learning mode is audio. Here we will relay more information, different information about the Peloponnesian War, but using audio only. Now, so that you can focus entirely on the content, we will blank out the slide. And don't take notes for this one either. And again, you'll have a quiz at the end to see what you have retained. Okay? Information will be starting now. 451 BC. Athens and Sparta signed a 5-year treaty ending the First Peloponnesian War. 446 BC. Athens and Sparta sign a 30 years peace treaty. 431 BC. Sparta attacks Athens and the Second Peloponnesian War begins. Okay, now that you have heard the information in the audio section, please take this short quiz and again, note down your score when you're finished. Now on to tactile learning. Tactile learning is quite difficult to reproduce online. This is because every learner has their own tactile sensation, which helps them organize, store, and recall material which has been presented. But to try and simulate a tactile experience, we are going to deliver some facts with audio only again. But this time, you are going to write down what you hear, using the notation you find most comfortable. So, at this point, please pause the video and find a pen or pencil and paper on which to write. Okay, you're back with pen or pencil and paper? Great. So again, we will show you a blank slide so you can concentrate on the material being presented. This time, though, please write down some notes, but you won't use it during the quiz, but do write it down to have a sort of a tactile learning experience. Okay, let's start. 430 BC. Athens suffers from a great plague. 429 BC. Athenian general Pericles dies from the plague. 415 BC. Athens attempts to take over Sicily, which ends in disaster. Great. So now turn your notes over so you can't see them and answer the questions in the quiz. And again, note down your score. Okay, finally, we have kinesthetic learning. Now, kinesthetic learning typically involves participating in a physical exercise to enhance the learning experience. Like tactile learning, this is a bit hard to do online, but we are going to try and simulate a kinesthetic experience with a sorting game, which forces you to move around dates and facts into an organized timeline. As you can see from this example animation, the object of this exercise is to match up facts with dates, and then put them in order from oldest on the left to most recent on the right. Now remember, we are using BC dates, so the larger numbers are on the right. So please pause the video at this point, type in the link provided there, bit.ly, VATKEX1, and then start the exercise. The exercise involves arranging the dates and the facts into chronological order, with the oldest and the most on the left and the most recent on the right. When finished, close the exercise and restart the video. Okay, great. That's the end of each of the video, audio, tactile, and kinesthetic exercises. Now, can you post up a few thoughts about your experience on the Collaborate board, which you will get to next? Please answer the following questions. Number 1, which method of learning worked best for you? Which, in your opinion, was the least effective? And finally, how might you change your educating style now that you have experienced how different styles of communicating lead to different amounts of learning?